Me, can I ask you one question that stopped me in my tracks? What if your greatest financial mistake isn't something you're doing today, but something your family won't discover until you're gone? Think about that. Not because you made bad investments, not because you didn't work hard, but because no one knows what you built, why you built it, or how to continue it. See, I've watched families lose businesses, inheritances disappear, and years of sacrifice unravel, not because there wasn't enough money, but because there wasn't a plan. And today I'm going to show you three conversations that determines whether your wealth becomes a blessing or a burden. The third one surprised even me. And so stay with me because before we're finished, I'm going to challenge you to write one sentence that may become the most valuable financial document you ever create. Because God never intended your stewardship to stop with your lifetime. See, a legacy is not just what you leave behind. A legacy is what continues to work after you are no longer in the room. And Queen, God did not give you wisdom just to survive this season. He gave you wisdom to build something that can bless your children, your family, your community, and the generations connected to your obedience. So let me ask you one more question. Are you managing your money for today, or are you building something that can serve generations? See, in part one, we identified your money personality. In part two, we talked about banking, building, and budgeting. In part three, we used AI as a tool to help us see our numbers and make wiser decisions. But today, we bring it all together. Today, we are talking about how to build, protect, and transfer a financial legacy God's way. Because your money should not end with you, it should carry purpose beyond you. All right, now, if you are just finding this video, you are watching part four of this series, Biblical Finance, Money Management God's Way. In part one, we talked about your money personality. Part two, we discussed how to bank without paying unnecessary fees, how to build through high yield savings, and why business and personal accounts must be separate. Part three, we talked about using AI to help you understand your budget and identify your financial blind spots. But today, where the foundation becomes a future, all right? Stewardship is today's obedience, creating tomorrow's blessing. We're going to talk about three things: build it, protect it, transfer it. All right, Queen, let's get into it today. See, a legacy begins with a clear assignment. Let me ask you something. If someone asked you, what exactly are you building financially? Could you answer them? Not what you want to buy, not what you want to look like. What are you actually building? See, I have watched so many women work extremely hard without ever defining what the work is supposed to produce. They are earning. They are paying bills. They are helping everybody. They are making things happen. We know how to do that. But when you ask, what is the vision for all of this? There's often silence. And Queen, that is not because you are lazy. It is because nobody taught you to connect your income to an assignment. You were taught how to make money. You were taught how to spend money. But you may not have been taught how to direct money toward a generational purpose. See, when God led me to begin writing my biblical financial books, I thought I was just writing a book. God corrected me. He showed me I wasn't writing books, I was closing a gap. I had watched believers get taken advantage of by people who knew how to manipulate scripture around money. And honestly, it boils my blood when the charlatans come out. I realized that our schools were like no longer really teaching finance, and very few were teaching biblical stewardship. That's when Heart to Heart Truth Foundation was born, because the assignment became bigger than book sales. I wanted these resources in the hands of women and children who could never afford them. Do you see the difference? Income built the books, purpose built the legacy. Maybe there's a moment when you realize that I'm not just building this for me, I'm building for the woman who will come after me. I'm building for my family. I'm building for the kingdom assignment God placed in my hands. That shift changes everything. So here's your first assignment. I want you to write a one-sentence financial legacy statement. Start with, God has entrusted me to build, and then complete the sentence. Maybe God has entrusted you to build a debt-free household. Maybe He has entrusted you to build a profitable business that employs other women or even family members. Maybe He has entrusted you to create educational resources for your children. Maybe He has entrusted you to purchase property, fund scholarships, support ministry, or create an inheritance. But do not compare your assignment to someone else's. Your legacy does not have to look impressive online. It has to be obedient, organized, and aligned with God's purpose for you. See, Proverbs, the 29th chapter and the 18th verse teaches us that where there is no vision, people perish. And Queen, when there is no financial vision, money perishes. It disappears. It gets consumed by emergencies. It gets redirected by emotions. It gets spent on things that were never part of the assignment. So write the vision. Give every dollar a job. Then ask yourself, does the way I am using money today support the legacy I say I want tomorrow? Does your current spending support your stated legacy? Now, don't answer too quickly, because Amazon knows, your bank statement knows, your calendar knows. They tell the truth long before we do. Now, what you do not organize can be lost. Queen, building is important, but building without protecting is dangerous, because it is possible to spend 20 years building something and lose it in 20 minutes because there was no structure around it. I remember when my father passed away, suddenly the questions started. Where are the records? Were the taxes filed? Which accounts existed? Then came a phone call from the IRS. They needed information. And the one person who had all the answers was no longer here. Funny story. When they called me, they say, well, you've got to turn in the taxes. And I said, well, he's dead. What do you want me to do? Go dig him up? Now, I wasn't trying to be funny. I was being real. Because, see, I wasn't grieving one loss. I was grieving while trying to solve a puzzle. That's when I realized organization isn't paperwork. Organization is an act of love. So I want you to think about how many women are carrying important financial information in their heads. They know the passwords. They know the accounts. They know which bills are due. They know how the business operates. They know where the documents are, but nobody else knows. And if something happens to them, the people they love are left trying to find answers while they are already grieving. See, I get a chance to work with many women in transition seasons, some going through divorce, others are widowed. And it really is heartbreaking to try to piece together what a partner was planning when you can't even ask them questions. When there is no organization, documentation, or conversation, confusion, frustration, and overwhelm are inevitable. This is not about fear. This is about wisdom. This is about love. This is about refusing to make your family guess what you intended. See, a financial legacy requires more than income. It requires documentation. It requires protection. It requires a plan. You need a folder. Here's what I want you to begin organizing. And by the way, number 3 on this list is the one families miss most often. And it's usually the one that creates the biggest conflict. But number 1, your account list. Write down every checking account, savings account, investment account, business account, and financial platform that you use. Number 2, your beneficiaries. Review the beneficiaries on your account and insurance policies. You got to do this. Make sure the information is correct and reflects your actual wishes. Number 3, your important documents. Locate your will, business documents, insurance information, property records, tax records, and any other documents your family may need. Number 4, your business continuity plan. If you own a business, who knows how to access the systems? Who knows what clients need? Who knows what bills must be paid? Who knows where your contracts are? Number 5, your professional support. Now, depending on your situation, you may need to speak to a qualified financial professional, an attorney, a tax professional, or insurance professional. This video is not legal or tax advice. This is your reminder to stop delaying the conversations that protect what God has allowed you to build. See, in Luke, the 14th chapter, the 28th verse, you know it, it says that before someone builds a tower, they need to sit down and count the cost. So planning does not mean you lack faith. Planning means that you are taking stewardship seriously. Prayer and preparation can work together. Faith and organization can work together. You can trust God and still create a folder. You can believe God and still update your beneficiaries. You can walk by faith and still make sure your business has a plan if you are unavailable. This is not fear. This is wisdom. Stewardship is today's obedience, creating tomorrow's blessing. Now, if this series has helped you see your money differently, and you know you need the deeper framework, go ahead, grab your copy of Financial Wisdom for Financial Freedom. I'm going to put the link in the description below. This book is going to help you look at money beyond the numbers. Yeah, we deal with quite a bit. All right. Because your money is connected to your identity, it's connected to your decisions, your relationships, your future, and your assignment. So get your copy before you move on from this series. Do not just watch the teaching, work the process. All right. A legacy must be taught, not just left. Here's the part where many people miss. You can leave money behind and still fail to leave wisdom. You can leave property and still leave people unprepared to manage it. You can leave a business and still leave no one who understands the responsibility attached to it. See, a legacy is not just what you transfer, it is what you teach. Think about the first things you learned about money. Who taught you? What did your family say about wealth? What did they say about debt? What did they say about rich people? What did they say about generosity? What did they say about business? See, many of us inherited financial beliefs before we ever earned our first dollar. Some of those beliefs gave us wisdom. Some gave us fear. Some taught us to work hard. Some taught us that money was always disappearing. Some taught us to hide the money. Anyway, some taught us to avoid conversations about money completely. Growing up, my dad loved math. He was a math teacher. He used to sit with me and we calculate the odds of winning the lottery. I know, yeah, that's that left brain thinking. But every single time, the numbers told the same story. Don't build your future on unlikely outcomes. Invest where time works for you instead of against you. He wasn't just teaching me math, he was teaching me how to think. It taught me to invest my money elsewhere because he also watched the stock market. It helped me to value where to invest and to not be afraid of the volatility when I was young, but to make sure I had the principle when I'm older. Now, that's a lesson I pass on. Can I ask you something? If your children inherited everything you know about money, but none of your money, would they still build wealth or would they have to start over? See, Queen, you may not be able to change everything you inherited, but you can decide what continues through you. So you can be the person who changes the conversation. You can be the person who teaches the next generation how to save, give, plan, build, and make decisions with wisdom. Here are 3 conversations I want you to begin having. Conversation number 1, teach the numbers. Show your children or the people you are preparing what a budget looks like. Explain the difference between income, expenses, saving, debt, and generosity. Now, financial wisdom for financial freedom can help you with that. Do not make money a mysterious subject. Conversation number 2, teach the responsibility. If you are building a business, explain that revenue is not the same thing as profit. Explain that taxes, payroll, expenses, and reinvestment matter. Explain that just because money enters the account does not mean it is available to spend. And conversation number 3, teach the values. Teach that money is a tool. It is not your identity. It is not your master. It is not proof that God loves you more than someone else. But it is a resource that requires wisdom. See, in Deuteronomy, the 8th chapter and the 18th verse, it reminds us that it is God who gives us the power to get wealth, to create wealth. That means that wealth is not just about accumulation. It is about stewardship. It is about remembering the source. It is about using what is in your hands for what has been placed in your heart. In Proverbs, the 13th chapter and the 22nd verse, it says that a good man or woman, a good person, leaves an inheritance for their children's children. It's a queen. An inheritance is not only money, it can be wisdom, it can be a paid off home, it can be a business, it can be education, it can be emotional stability, it can be a family culture where people know how to make wise decisions. It can be a name associated with integrity, generosity, and obedience. So do not only ask, how much can I leave? Ask, what will they know because I lived? What will they understand because I taught them? What will they be able to build because I prepared them? Because a legacy is taught, not just transferred. I don't want this to stay information, so let's put this into action. Number one, I want you to write your legacy statement. Complete the sentence. God has entrusted me to build, and make it specific. Two, create your protection folder. Gather all your account information, your beneficiaries, your important documents, your business records, and your professional contacts. Number three, start one money conversation. Sit down with a child, a family member, a business partner, or someone you are preparing. Teach them one thing you have learned about money. Don't wait until everything is perfect. See, legacy does not begin when you have millions of dollars. Legacy begins when you become intentional with what is already in your hands. Queen, you may not have everything yet, but you have a beginning. You have wisdom. You have choices. You have resources. You have an assignment. And you have the ability to make a different decision today. As I reflected on everything that we built together, we talked about your money personality. We talked about how you bank. We talked about how you build. We talked about how you budget. We also talked about using AI as a tool. And now we're talking about legacy, because the goal was never just to have money. The goal was to become a faithful steward of everything that God placed in your hands. So finish the sentence in the comments. God has entrusted me to build, and I can't wait to read what God has placed in your heart. And while you're reading the comments, encourage another queen. You never know whose assignment needs your words today. Let that be your declaration. Let that be the beginning of a fresh financial conversation in your family. And share this series with a queen who is ready to stop managing money only for today and start building with tomorrow in mind. So, queen, one day, someone will benefit from a decision you're making today. They may never know your sacrifice. They may never know your prayers. They may never know the nights you chose stewardship over impulse. But they'll live inside the blessing of your obedience. That's legacy. And that's why biblical finance has never been about dollars. It's always been about discipleship. Because when God can trust your hands, generations can experience His faithfulness. Stewardship is today's obedience, creating tomorrow's blessing. I'm Dr. Shantae Haynes. I'm your destiny designer and also known as your biblical money management expert. I'm here to help you put feet to your faith so that you can walk victoriously. And Queenpreneur, your money has a purpose. Your work has a purpose. Your business has a purpose. And your obedience can reach further than you realize. Do not just build something that looks successful. Build something that is useful. Build something that is protected. Build something that can bless others. Build something that can outlive you. And I'll see you in the next video. Now go walk in it.